Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Time for game number 2. Well, gonna have to try again for new beginning. Find a new start, if you will. Something like that, because they just lost game number 1 in quite a convincing fashion. Clutch Gamers taking it for themselves, and now only one game away from knocking their opponent out of the ESL One Genting Qualifiers. My name is Dragon, I'm still joined by Skim, and we're seeing some familiar heroes here.
Very much so. First 3 picks pretty much the same, but this time around we have an Ogre Magi instead of a Wyvern. Pretty much the hero that I think we should have seen last game instead of the Yellow Titan. If that had been an Ogre Magi, I think they have much more stable lanes, because you can have the Ogre rotate to the mid lane and actually harass the Queen of Pain, potentially trade at least a couple of kills instead of just giving away kill after kill. And even if you run the Tiny off lane, you just need something, and you can't just go for stable lanes. You have to be able to win one lane for sure, right? You can't just be like, well, at least we're not losing this lane. No, you have to win lane. So I think this is a good change, and I think for Clutch Gamers this was a very solid recipe, the Bane or Spirit, and being able to be very flexible with your core picks, of course, does help in the draft.
Well, they have plenty of opportunity to then settle on these cores, as you said. Like, well, I mean, it would lend itself well to just go for more of these self-sufficient cores that you can kind of leave alone for the most part. So not only the Earthspirit but also the Dane can roam around. Both of these heroes. Obviously, Earthspirit is the classic core position, right? He wants to be the one trying to make kills happen everywhere. And Bane, if he has to, he can just stick around in the lane and stabilize that with just nightmares into a couple of right clicks and the brain sap and whatnot. But if you add that power on top of the Earthspirit, perhaps even setting up for rolls and silences and whatnot, I really love to see that as well. And well, one of these heroes that could provide that space essentially just by being very self-sufficient is the Weaver. So in the beginning, that man makes sense in that respect as well. And
Clutch Gamers also respecting the fact, the Dusa on steroids is not something you want to face. Yeah, they had the Dusa themselves beforehand, but you really don't want to run the risk of New Beginning just snatching it up if you let it through. So good ban there. Also the Shadow Shaman, a good ban, just because Shadow Shaman is just also really good here. That provides a lot of control, adds a lot of push with the Tiny, and they would have a lot of kill potential if they had Shadow Shaman and Ogre as a support duo, and then the Tiny on top on the offlane. They could play very aggressively. By the way, we did so first of all, it's a bit unfortunate that we don't have a ticket, so obviously none of these players have their actual names lined up, but we did call out a player incorrectly. It's actually Miracle supporting for New Beginning right now.
Apparently, yeah. He's tagged up as Rindo right now. His competitive name is Jabami. So, like, the deception goes 3 layers deep right now, in that sense. So, like, I'm not in charge of making sure that players get their brands in order, so I'm just gonna call him by his name or by his hero at this point, and, well, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
It's their choice, really.
I don't know for Clutch Gamer. I honestly really like this approach to drafting. It's a very non-pick in a way, because what does it really give you, or what does it tell you if you're New Beginning? You don't really know much about the game plan from Clutch Gamers, because I know it's just a hero that does work in a variety of ways, right? He is like a pushing team fighting hero, but that's pretty much what you want out of an offlaner anyway, so it didn't really tell you anything. And New Beginning, I wouldn't necessarily say are forced into like a decisive pick. They could also just pick a non-saying support in a way, but it's not easy to draft into this, because if you pick a support now and it doesn't really counter what the cores or the cores from Clutch Gamers offer, right? How do you counter that again? Like if they for example go again with something like an L Titan or a Wyvern, Clutch Gamers can just get away again with like a Queen of Pain or something like that. So I like committing to this Bad Rider now and not committing it to support, because this way they can allow themselves to still counterpick certain cores of Clutch Gamer.
Yeah. Well, in CG, now they're kind of forced into a core role that can deal with a Bad Rider, right? If that ends up being the offlane in the first place, or it could also very well be 4 position. Wouldn't be the first time I've seen that. So, a couple of question marks here, but the safe play to go would be to pick up something like Lifestealer, right? Someone that can rage out of trouble if necessary. And for that, you'd also then need something like Queen of Pain, Puck, something very mobile out of the mid lane, because you don't really have that already. I mean, technically you're Spirit, I guess, but it's not the most reliable carrier. But instead, they're gonna go for the Juggernaut. Similar idea, right? You have the magic immunity. And certainly a lot of physical damage output. Also, useful against Tiny. Sure, he's getting some armor now, but Omni Slash will still help cut through him quite nicely.
10 seconds
That said,
remaining.
the first or the initial Omni Slash isn't really that strong here because
5
Tiny and Augur are
seconds
pretty
remaining.
tanky, and the first Omni Slash pretty much just relies on the Omni Slash damage as opposed to the Juggernaut's right click. So it's not necessarily. I mean, I still think it's a good pick here. Don't get me wrong, but I think if you're new beginning, you're not too worried about the Juggernaut at all. If anything, you're worried about the fact that you just still don't really know what college gamers are how they're gonna approach the game.
Yeah.
They could really do anything. They could try to commit to a push, depending on what hero they pick next, right? They could commit to a push with the healing ward, with the Underlord aura, and of course the Firestorm, or they could just try and be like a really brawly kind of type. They could go all in on team fighting. We could maybe see a split pushing. We could even see another sort of like 4 protect 1-ish kind of type scenario where they pick a hard carry now and just have maybe either even the Jugger mid or just have like a Medusa type hero in the mid lane, right? They're just a hero that is really difficult to kill. They could just carry the game. So
yeah, I mean, Chappie really seems to thrive on these kind of heroes. So you
Yes.
can just farm up for a while and then you just go ham. I mean, I can relate to that. I'm the same kind of guy who plays Spectre, who plays Medusa, Anti-Mage, these kind of heroes who just are AFK for 30 minutes, and then either your team has lost the game for you, or you just win it. But Tinker makes it a little bit more tricky, because that puts you on the clock. That makes that kind of a playstyle that much more dangerous. Because, well, Tinkers, it's not like it's an auto win by any means in the late game, right? You can play around him, especially with what clutch games already have. You have the Earth Spirit, provide some control. Underlords can even go for the blink, with the blink into Root. Juggernaut can also go for this mobility kind of play, and you also have a lot of lockdown from the Bane. So if they can get on top of the Tinker, they can deal with him. But it just makes you think twice about going this route down a heavy farming core, and maybe start thinking more about, hey, what other options do we have, right? With the Juggernaut, you have the Healing Ward, pretty decent sustain for any sort of 5-man pushes, same with the Underlord, who can build mechanisms into pipes or whatever they need. And then all you need for that to work right now is a pushing hero, right? Dragon Knight, Death Prophet perhaps, even something like that out of the middle lane. Which they could probably get away with, honestly.
Yeah, I think something like a Death Prophet wouldn't be bad. I probably would prefer something like a DK.
10 seconds
But then you're
remaining.
going all in on this sort of like melee core tri lineup. It's not that great against the Tinker,
5
especially.
seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Like on a DP, you can at least little CS if you're lasered, just by spamming down the creep wave with the crypt swarms. So.
I actually think Ember Spirit could work here. They need something to counter the Tinker.
Oh yeah.
They can't really deal with the Tinker right now. They need something to counter it, and they need also something to probably create space for the Ember, for the Juggernaut, and something that's able to fight with the Underlord. I think going between minutes, probably like 15 and 25, they want to be able to fight and take the fight to new beginning, or maybe even before that, before the Tinker has the Blink Dagger, because then they can really fight aggressively without the Tinker being really able to sort of join the fight. I mean, even if he joins the fight, it's really awkward, and they can kill him with the Ember Spirit. So I would love an Ember Spirit here. And there's not a lot of good ways to punish it either. Yeah, they have stuns, but it's not easy to hit him. Like, especially since it's most likely a support Batrider, they're not going to have an early blink on him, right? So, like, the good catch for the Ember Spirit isn't really
10
here.
seconds remaining.
It's just a question of, do you have enough damage to kill, like, Ogre, Tiny? They're
seconds
also pretty
remaining.
tanky, right?
You just want to go back to like a Queen of Pain, still in the pool, right? And also kind of fits this kind of
could go back for
idea.
that. I feel like the Queen of Pain is a little bit squishy, though. I think there's a lot of burst here from pretty much, I mean, any hero from New Beginning side, really. And the Queen of Pain only has, like, she needs to blink to initiate onto the Tinker, and she doesn't have an escape anymore. Ember Spirit can go in and can go out again.
Yeah.
I think that's why I prefer the Ember Spirit, but I'm not sure if college gamers are thinking of it. It's one of those things where sometimes you tunnel vision into an idea when you have it from the beginning, and Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had the. I mean, they had the Queen of Pain last game, and they just think to themselves, "Oh, can we just go Queen of Pain again?"
Yeah, I mean, it's fresh in the mind, like,
Exactly.
especially coming in from a very decisive win like that, right? This guy, Abel, calm player as he's tagged up, must be feeling nice about it. Hey,
And
yeah, I'm in a groove. I'm warmed up on this hero.
And to
Just
be
give
fair,
it to me
it
again.
also does better in the lane than
Yeah.
the Ember Spirit. That's also worth considering. Maybe they did think of the Ember, but they just considered, well, we can't really deal well, or we can't really handle the lane as the Ember Spirit, especially if there's an Ogre roaming around, or a Battle Rider even. So, actually, it's support Tiny. Well, that's not that's not better anyway. Like, that's also pretty bad. Like, in terms of, if that support duo is roaming around, an Ember Spirit probably dies in that scenario. So I understand the Queen of Pain here for sure, and I do think it's a well-run lineup. But I'm also more confident in New Beginnings lineup. I do think there's a bit of weaknesses in their lineup where they have a really awkward timing before the Battle Rider has Blink and before the Tinker has Blink, where they are very vulnerable. But if they just weather the storm and they just get a timely Blink on both heroes, I think they're in a very good position here.
Alright. We'll see what they can do. New beginning, they certainly have to pull it out right here, right now, if they want to stay alive. The ESL One Genting SEA Qualifier, because this is all single elimination from beginning to the end. Today, second best of 3, first round, the round of 12 even. Into the round of 8 coming up tomorrow. The winner will be up against Fire Dragoon. So it's also very rather fresh team, I want to say, right? But with a lot of promise.
See, that's the thing. I feel like
Prepare for
if
battle.
you're either team, I think you feel confident going into that matchup. If you win here, I think you feel comfortable against Fire Dragoon. No offense against Fire Dragoon, but I think they're actually probably one of the weaker teams in the top seed.
Yeah, certainly if compared to against like the other teams that are there, like TNC, Execution, Happy Feet.
Yeah, I definitely think they're probably actually the weakest. So, at least based on previous results, I mean, maybe they're shaping up again. I mean, SEA is in kind of weird state where we're seeing a few tiny shuffles here and there, right? Like outside of the top teams or players are definitely shuffling around. I mean, we've seen WG completely falling apart now. So, I mean, Fire Dragoon also a team that has made numerous changes this season already.
Yeah.
So, this is
30 seconds to battle.
I mean, this qualifier might even lead to a couple of changes as well. I mean, there's lots of players in this tournament that could potentially just, still be trying out teams. I mean, if they're not doing well now, they might as well just keep on trying out for other teams because the new roster lock is probably coming in a couple of weeks.
I hate to speculate on that because you never really know with Valve.
We really don't, it's Valve. For all we know, it's coming in like 2019.
Yeah. Well, for now we have a game to cast.
Upon a loyal warrior.
This time will be Rindo blocking on the Tiny here for the middle lane. Yamate on the Tinker. New beginning again on the dire side this time around. They have to try and make that work. Clutch games on the other side. Also gonna have some heroes to help out the Queen of Pain against the Tinker. Right, at the very least, the Earth Spirits can maybe try and poke and prod, fly solo, roaming around on the Bane. Already TPing up to the top lane of all things. Chappy.
They rotated the lanes. They scouted the Luna early on, and they immediately rotated because you really don't want the Underlord versus the Bad Rider. You're definitely going to lose that lane. So having this dual lane against the Bad Rider is the way to go.
No stakes on any of these heroes right now, so NJ can just spam Napalm to his heart's content. But again, as you said, right, Juggernaut, you do have the build defensive utility. Worst comes to worst, you can just spin away, purge off these stacks with that. And Underlord doesn't necessarily have that.
By the way, mid lane, this is more the kind of mid lane that I almost we're used to seeing, this 2v2 in a way, where the supports are, they're there for the first wave, then they go back to sort of give the experience to their mid player, and then they come back. Last game we actually had pretty much as close to a 1v1 as possible, really, with the puck and the Queen of Pain. Last game, I was really surprised to see that. Oh, Ogre.
The roll in just misses it though on Yoga Magi by the looks of it. But yeah, like, what's the Ogre Magi factor here later in the game? Like, he's I mean, what the hero is essentially a Bloodlust machine. Maybe you get lucky with the Fire Blast for some extra bit of nuke damage, but you have two heroes that can actually benefit quite nicely from that, just with the Tiny as well as the Luna. So, how much you expect that to factor into, like, a hypothetical mid-game situation?
It's definitely good for the Luna. It used to be an old combo. Oh. It used to be a very popular old combo, you know, in the TI3 Alliance era, where they would pick Lone Druid and Luna as a sort of bloodlust targets, and it's really effective in high ground sieges. And as for the Tiny, I do think it's actually, I wonder if this is why they ran this support Tiny in the first place, because they know they could potentially have carrying potential with the Ogre Magi. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a big thing, but I don't know, we'll see.
Well, for now, Tine just playing a bit with the Underlord, zoning him out completely, so that lane is being won. Luna 14 and 6, 12 and 7 on Chappie here, as he's they're even doing the side pull, so basically the off lanes turns into the safe lanes for the respective teams. And there's still more actions coming in this mid lane. Fractures continuing to basically camp it out, making sure the try on the Earthbird can't come in and really threaten the Tinker.
Yeah, this is really good from New Beginning to sort of keep this mid lane down, because the Queen of Pain is a huge part of the win condition. Oh, the roll in misses
missing
again.
though, yeah.
But yeah, the Queen of Pain is a huge part of the win condition for this lineup. The Queen of Pain needs to create space in the mid game, and they need her to fight. But Vayne TP'd mid. Looks like they're setting up for a kill here potentially. But there's a Tiny right behind him. I'm not sure they see it.
They did not. Now they do. I think they had a bit of a sliver of vision there. Yeah. They do see a Nightmare follow-up available for Earthbird. Very easy to roll in. Actually gets tossed back into the Ogre Magi. That does only means that he lands a double stun window. Taken out to the damage over time. The deny comes through from Fractures. On the money with that, but yes, not out of the woods yet. Fractures being body blocked himself. Another Shadow Dagger. Can they deny him too? They can! Oh my god! New Beginning!
Oh my god.
Almost fed First Blood twice, but denied through Shadow Strike twice. Damn.
What a play from both players. I mean, HY and Yamati showing that they're...
That is Saitama, he's jumping so slow. Last right click, Rindo needs one more, there it is! First Blood coming through, meanwhile Queen of Pain mid ticking out himself to something. Yeah, the Ignite coming through. What the hell is happening right now?
Suddenly all those kills
also falls.
So instead of giving away First Blood and potentially losing 2 heroes in total, they get 3 kills? New Beginning?
Well,
good.
This kind of takes me back, you know, to ESL One Frankfurt 2014. I believe it was Pycat on Axe in mid, gets ganked, but gets 3 kills himself.
This laning stage, it's actually pretty... Solo.
I think 3 points up on a laser, you don't often see that. Sometimes it's just a 2-2 and then you start to go into the match, but Yamate really focusing on this nuke damage build early on.
I like this. I think that's what they need to tinker for in this match right now, or in this early game at least. Being able to hold the Queen of Pain down like this is really important. Yeah, it delays his farm quite a little bit, especially obviously on the VOTs and the subsequent blink. But if they can delay the Queen of Pain's impact, that's definitely worth it.
Yeah. And hey, maybe you get some extra kills with that, so it's just another way to farm, right? We'll have the Macho Machines eventually.
Bottom lane, Saitama dropping really, really low. Tree grab with the toss. Barely misses.
Yeah, you couldn't target him because you don't have the vision. Try to just sive him down regardless. And that makes the fun at least. Top lane.
The entire time.
Oh, Bad Rider. And you was thinking about going there towards your spit. As it stands, he'll just be able to pick up this bounty rune. Eventually. Come on. Ah, yes. Okay, he's drinking this bottle. Makes sense.
Invisibility.
Tinker's Invis.
Alright,
I thought this was gonna go much differently, you know?
Well,
I had like this idea in my head where, you know, he's just waiting until the Ogre Magi comes in, forces a blink, and then he just goes all in, but
yeah.
He just
Radiant structures
couldn't
are
bother. Couldn't be
fortified.
bothered.
Not that fancy just yet. But yeah, despite this good early start, it's still only like a 1k lead. Chappie is still
Dire's top
on
tower
path there. 51 last hits, 15 nice in terms of net worth. It's also very close to the Luna. So at least that part is still working out quite well, and especially these supports can steal some of this Batrider farm. And certainly the experienced Fracture is going to try to change that fact, throwing on the Ignites.
Oh, mid lane,
God.
they find the Queen of Pain again. Nice rotation from Miracle, finding that gank here, and this is where I mean, he's been here before. I feel like they should have said a word, planted a word after they saw the Tiny here for the first time, because they're very vulnerable from this angle, and they don't have a vision here. They prioritize the enemy jungle because they want to prevent the Batrider from farming, but they're sacking the Queen of Pain, which I don't think is the right choice here. I mean, delaying the Batrider is nice and all, but I mean, you could do both. You don't have to. Oh. In the jungle, they used the Omni Slash on the Batrider.
Oh, no.
And he accidentally, it's just by chance, right? He was super unlucky, jumped to the creep. One more hit would have been enough to kill the Batrider.
Well, that's level 1 Omni Slash for you. Only 3 jumps. Not a whole lot. Down bottom, Avalanche comes through, plus the extra nukes. Try, just wanted the bounty rune, which just gets killed. Put some extra bounty towards the window at this point here. Tiny just getting quite a bit of money under his belt, even as a support. So down to what do you? It just tells the story of this game, isn't it? Like 100 gold, 100 or 200 gold off the Queen of Pain.
Regeneration.
Yep. That's what's rolling Tiny. And there's also Luna to contend with, right? Ask Command is going to be up sooner rather than later, so even more attack speed to work with. And this is the hero that can push, that can throw the ridiculous amount of magic damage in the right team fight here with the Eclipse. Like, and you also give that extra damage to the rest of the team. That's nothing to ignore in these kind of earlier skirmishes in particular. Even though it's only level 1 right now.
I feel like this laning stage is really not going the way of CG at all. I mean, they're prioritizing this Juggernaut so much and prioritizing the Batrider so much, but I feel like they could enable this Queen of Pain much more. I mean, they're already sacking the Underlord, but not doing well in the Queen of Pain is such a huge deal because, I mean, Juggernaut is not the type of carry or hero to just carry the game by himself.
Yep.
Like, he's not just suddenly, you know, just getting, oh, guys, I finished farming, now we can end the game. No, he's not that type of carry. He needs the rest of the team to enable him.
I think part of that is certainly that Fractures has just not really left Yamate alone for too long. It's just made it almost impossible for Tri to just go in onto the Stinker, and if you can't make anything happen in mid to help out the Queen of Pain, like, you're not gonna see that hero rotate early. I mean, this is about the time we can expect it. Right, level 7, good damage from the Shadow Strike here with 2 points into it. Queen of Pain almost maxed out with the Sonic Wave. Like, oh, Omni Slash, the Ignis Ruler from the Organ Magi, the spin still connects. They secure the kill.
That could have been so unfortunate for Chappie if HYHI just actually runs in the correct direction, which, to be fair, wasn't easy because Chappie was, you know, obviously got him really low in the first place. But
if the fate time was just a little bit lower, then maybe not even all the Omni Slashes come through.
Well, that's almost BOTs. No, it is BOTs. Never mind. Well, now the clock starts ticking, I suppose, for both sides, really.
It really does.
More so for the Radiant, I guess. They already have issues taking down the Tinker as is, but with such a significant advantage over the Queen of Pain, I feel like it's, I don't know. I'm not sure what the plan for CG is really. I mean, earlier, bottom lane. I guess they're trying to go for a kill here.
I would say just starting to spam out whatever spells you can, doing Tinker things to secure this tower, if nothing else. They have the catapults with them.
But yeah, the plan for CG was earlier, you know, to rotate the Juggernaut somewhere because he's obviously the only one that actually had a good laning stage and try to get a kill. But if that doesn't work, you can't just always rely on him, especially since he used Omni Slash already. You have to do something on the map. I feel like you have to do something. You have to commit something. Maybe even smoke up with the Queen of Pain and both supports and just try to go for a kill here at bottom together with the Underlord.
Well, don't quite want to commit to that. At this point, like, anyone you go on, you also have to figure out, hey, Tinker, unless we're catching him in like this very small timing window where he's just back to base and recharging mana, it still takes a while. Unless you hit that particular timing window, which you don't necessarily can control, he's always going to be there, right? To provide the march up to level 3 now, so you can't really fight in that. You can't fight in the rocket and laser spam. Right? So it's actually a lot of safety from the beginning to do what they want, as long as they keep like 2 or 3 heroes together. And if they, as long as they keep fighting their creep waves, I guess.
Alright, New Beginning is hitting such a sick timing. They're gonna have double blink on Tiny and Batrider. Once those blinks are up, they can go for any kill here right now. They should be able to find at least one kill with this combo. 100%. And if they play right, they could even go for 2 kills. Or because if they use one first and then save the other one for the next kill, I feel like they should be able to find like the Queen of Pain and maybe the Underlord again. They certainly have a lot of burst damage, especially if they group up with the Ogre and maybe have the Tinker TP after them as well. So this is huge for them. This is like a really important time window for them to be able to apply pressure here and just buy enough time for the Luna. Although as I say that, apparently Luna's just going to be part of this, so she's just going to join them. Yeah, why not?
It's a hero that can certainly do that, right? You like the times where you just farmed up the Luna as like this late game core have long gone. Like you want to be able to try and leverage that extra nuking power that you have with the max Lucent Beam. Just getting 1 or 2 of those off in a fight, even if you can't find the angle for an Eclipse, it can make a huge difference. But now, walking past the tower.
That's Queen of Pain, isn't it? It should be.
Well, window there, yeah. The blink revealed, Eclipse coming through, mostly tanked up by creeps, and yeah, that means that he actually gets a blink out. Not enough control here, a little bit too spread out. Now Chappie ready with the Omni Slash into the backlines, bursting him down together with the Queen of Pain, staying around to throw out the Sonic Wave. All of a sudden, 2 heroes down and making a 3rd one. Yamate, that's a big kill. Rindo looking to try and turn us around, but with the healing ward going, they're not even low. He's gonna lose his life, and it's a full 5-man wipe. What?
Oh my god. This is so I praise this double blink so much, but then
I love the suit. Attack serves down to the bottom lane, free tier 1.
That is actually such a good move, yeah. I praise the double blink so much, but then they go ahead and pretty much do the worst they can do. I wouldn't necessarily say stack their stuns, but they effectively stack their disables. And then they drop an Eclipse right next to a creep wave, which obviously wasn't gonna. I mean, they would have gotten really lucky. And then when the Queen of Pain blinks out, the Tiny doesn't blink after her.
Well, for now, tries actually a little bit too deep. They didn't actually commit for the tower as I thought they would, but they TP down.
Well, they didn't take the Juggernaut with them, so without the Juggernaut, they can't really take the tower effectively. But yeah, I don't know why the Tiny didn't blink after the Queen of Pain. They could have potentially blinked in and then tossed her back out, but I'm not sure what they were afraid of, I guess. So, I don't know. Really bad play from New Beginning, really. And also good rotation from Clutch Gamers. Being able to find those counter kills. The Underlord, this is the strength of the hero, these kind of engagements, right? Where he could just come in, he dropped like a triple Pit of Malice. So, that was huge.
Yep. As that maxed out now, with the mechanism going, plus the arcane dude, so it's getting to the point, right? We haven't really felt his impact until that fight, right? Because he's been like very much bullied in his bottom lane, right? Hasn't really been able to get too close to the Luna whatsoever. Now, blink across the other side, the lasso still connects. He overshot a little bit, and now with 4 heroes around, that should be a secured kill eventually, despite all of that sustain.
Not really that big of a kill for them, though.
Yeah.
He didn't really lose any gold in that engagement because he pretty much didn't have any left.
And turn this into more though, the healing one's going. Chappie's still down at half health, the silence to prevent any sort of follow-up from Tiny. Only got the avalanche out.
Chappie is huge. He is 1.4k gold ahead of the Luna. Investing into this battlefield was a smart choice because he needed it to keep up with the Luna's farm. And now he's just pulling ahead.
So where does it leave us overall? Like, despite everything, I guess you could say Queen of Pain has caught up. Like, very similar net worth to the Tinker, considering that Yamate is the one with the big old farming spell, Master Machines.
He's ahead of
quite specific, and okay, there it is. Try actually finds the Tinker. On the back, that's Fly Solo keeping Window safe, but Chappie taken over, trying to do the X bit of damage onto Yamate. I think they need one more storm. I'm not sure if that actually connected, it didn't. So one slash from the Omni Slash will be enough, so it's, I guess, single slash. You would call that. They also track down Window in the end.
Chappie tried to be really... He tried to save the Omni Slash, of course. Tried to see if he could maybe get the kill without it, but unfortunately,
I don't think that last stone was, I think it was just out of range to refresh the magnetize, so it's super unfortunate. But hey, a kill's a kill, especially in a hero like Tinker.
Secures him the Roche.
Yeah. Even with the Boots of Travel, you still want to slow him down. I mean, he still has not had the chance found with his own Blink Dagger.
This is huge for them, being able to hit this timing.
Your song has fallen to the Radiant.
And I mean, this is sort of what I alluded to in the draft, right? This time window before the Tinker's blink. This is where they can apply pressure. This is literally where they can make the Tinker feel unsafe. It's a bit unfortunate for them that Queen of Pain had such a sort of rocky start, because if the Queen of Pain was a little bit further ahead, they would definitely kill the Tinker all the time. Speaking of kills,
speaking of rocky.
Is under attack.
The Rosebeard not going to throw out any of those anytime soon, even with the TPs coming through. So, but again, it's only kind of low-level kill with the Blink Lasso. But what else are you going to go for, right? You have to find something.
I just don't like that Luna's part of all of these kills. I feel like she should be farming more. She's, I mean, you do have a point, right? The whole time, I mean, the age of Luna just sitting in her jungle, just doing nothing for 40 minutes is over. But at the same time, you should be sitting in the jungle for at least 10 minutes now. The Chappie is just getting further and further ahead. He's almost 2k ahead of his network.
Okay, Batroid is taking around a little bit too long. I think she's seen down there. Yeah. Alright, take the ultimate at the very least, but now that's the next one.
Gonna find a solo kill probably. Oh, never mind.
Omni Slash just coming
Omni
cooldown
Slash
now.
Been available, but I guess he didn't want to use it.
It just came out after he was on the other side of the tree line.
Radiant's
But yeah,
middle tower is under
not the most
attack.
important kill anyway, so now we still have the threat of that available. At the very least, we're slowly getting to a point where the lanes are going to be a nuisance to deal with, right? I mean, look at top lane, it's being pushed in, just a little bit of chip damage to the tier 1 tower. Middle lane as well, so they have to abandon this 10th in the bottom. And Tinker does have the Blink Dagger now, so Yamate is that much more safer. You can TP in to a lane, Q the Blink up to one of the 3 lines. And then you have that extra step if you want to try and find them.
What Clutch Gamer have going for them is that...
Here we are again.
I mean...
Blink Lasso on more or less a solo underlord, still gets the ultimate off, but not sure who will actually trigger with the mechanism. It might in okay, he's actually cancelling it with Nightmare coming through. Calm play and Fly Solo taking over and ready to turn things around onto NJ. Eventually Firefly will stop. One way across Fractures. Hanging around as well. Yamate with another TP in. Extra nukes to turn things around onto the Bane. And now Calm Player sitting in the middle of that does have the Pit of Malice for company. But Saitama can't really go in closer to really have the multiplier. Was so freaking close. 70 health points or something. That's all that remained there in the Queen of Pain's pool. Well, I'm just gonna drink some water from the fountain. Be absolutely fine.
In the meantime, though, Chappie gets a solo kill into the Luna.
Yeah. Looks like, yeah, Omni Slash just tanked in the back lines. Just who knows coming in.
This is really not good. They commit so much, or not really so much, but I mean, just committing 2 or 3 heroes for the Underlord kill and not even getting the kill, it's a huge deal. And they go for these scrappy fights, which, I mean, they just don't really have the damage without the Luna right now, but they can't really use the Luna in those fights because she has to farm right now.
Yep.
And
Dire's bottom tower
I don't know, it almost feels like they have to wait a little bit, because right now the tiny Batroid combo is just not enough to really kill anybody aside from the supports.
Speaking of Batroid, they're gonna find him now. Nightmare into Fiend Script. Easy kill. Chappie taking over, spinning through the March of Machines. Fly Solo, it's almost dying to that, has found an angle on the other side.
Dire's middle tower is under
Yamate,
attack.
but there it is. The Yules into Firestorm. Pit of Malice not available here. Nice little combo there from Reno. Claims the Aegis, but now Sonic Wave. Beautiful stun there from trying the backlines. Finding both of these kills, and well, Aegis are about to expire in a minute anyways. Might as well use it. Fractures next on the list, but has made it past the tier 2 tower. Unwilling to dive that far. Well, took them a while longer at this point in this game, but CG starting to get into the same groove. Starting to build more and more into map control and into gold lead as well.
Dyer's bottom tower
This is not really
attack.
looking pretty for new beginnings,
Dyer's
and
structures are
I don't know. CG just feel much more composed, and their coordination is so much more on point, right? It feels like everybody is hitting their spells at the time necessary. The Earth Spirit for sure, and even the Underlord, really on point with Pit of Malice, with Firestorm on top of it as well. I don't know. And then of course Chappie, the carry that they enable, but he's always pulling through at the right time. Like, yeah, he's been farming a lot, but he also knows when he has Omnislash available, he's looking for a kill. I mean, he found the Luna, he found the Ogre earlier, almost a Tinker. I don't know, it's not easy for new beginnings to take this game right now, and I feel like they need more time, but I'm not sure who is supposed to buy the time. It almost feels like it has to be Bad Rider, Tiny, Ogre, because Tinker and Luna need more. They just need more right now.
Yeah. Well, right now they still have some tier 2 towers to just give their lives to the cause, essentially. Also doing a split push thing here. There's pressure mid. Yamate following to get rid of the next creep wave, and same time they're also pressuring bottom. So they're forcing a reaction. High ground is not quite yet on the cards for CJ. Still have some more legwork to do. But you have to be careful. Like, any sort of extra slowdowns like this cannot happen. Blink Yules, Reno trying to TP out, Satana's dead, but can't actually cancel it.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we got him, guys. It's between our towers. Oh, never mind, we can't cancel TP. Whoops. Well, if you get out of these situations, if you live to push another day, if you will, right? Then maybe they can just do this Navi style, essentially, right? That's something that Navi has been getting better and better at, but for now, that's a pretty good one. Into the Eclipse, into the follow control, that's a pretty good kill, and trying to help! Well, just offers himself up as the extra cherry on top, essentially.
600 gold for the Luna. They were really patient about this. I like this. They were sitting behind this creep wave for a long time because they knew the Chappie was there. So they're just waiting for him to show, and they find this kill. They need to keep doing this. They need to be able to find these kind of pickoffs. I guess even if they have to commit the Luna, as long as they get Chappie or RML, it's so worth it because it just buys them a lot of time. Any other kill is not worth it, honestly.
Speaking of ammo,
So close. Yeah, if it had been any other hero, if it had been the Underlord, it wouldn't have been worth it. But just because it was Chappie, it was really, really worth it. And now, you know, you have like a minute time, effectively, where you could just free farm the map without any worries. Top lane.
I'll try again here. Toss back towards the Luna. But you also make sure that there's no like interruptions on the blink animation with the loosened beam. Like the only way that they can actually get the kill on the Queen of Pain after all they're using the avalanche, right? Interrupt the blink animation, maybe create some chaos. Like, wait, why I'm not blinked yet?
Well, net worth still only, or I guess now only a 3k gold lead. I guess almost 4k gold lead, but yeah, this is, again, they bought themselves a lot of time, and I mean, any Tinker lineup, any Luna Tinker lineup, I mean, it's just about buying yourself time.
Yeah.
Because in the long run, you're going to have a natural, not necessarily advantage, but you're going to peak at a much later stage anyway, so delaying
Solo Glimmer caping forward, but Lasso actually lands onto the Underworld this time. He's one of the Tinker targets, and the rest of the Radiant side coming through. The ult on absolutely everybody. Tinker first one to fall, but BKB and Luna's turning things around to try and fight, but it's not enough. Omni Slash cuts him down. Triple kill for Chappie in the middle of all of that, despite the buyback from Yamate. They can only claim that Underlord. This time it was a bait. Comes in, offers himself up, hey, lasso me. That's exactly what they did. The rest of the team smoked up, ready to respond.
It was a major bait, and I'm not sure why they took it like that. I feel like it's
Tinker. Yamate, he bought back.
That's a dieback.
He dies back. 85 seconds on the silence now. Still 40 on Luna. None of these heroes have buyback actually. It's not on the entire map.
2 lanes of rocks. They can take mid, but they're picking up top already.
Dire's
This is how the cookie crumbles.
I don't know what to say, honestly. This is just one bad play after another, really. And it's not even that they play really that badly in this entire game. It's just if you make a crucial mistake like that, the game can be over.
Yeah.
But it's for now it's only 2 lanes of
Yeah,
racks,
it's not
and
just
they
yet.
do have Luna and Tinker, 2 of the best heroes to hold these lanes with.
Dire's middle
But
tower
you don't want to be in the position in the first place. It might not even be a complete set of racks. It could only be 1 racks.
has fallen.
It's also match point, right? New beginning, they like have every reason to hold on for as long as they can.
Dire's top barracks has fallen.
But they can't lose any more heroes right here. They're still being dove, Pit of Malices, just to secure range tracks. This is just a power play right now. You don't need to kill this building. It's not really worth it to overextend, but they're all full health, full mana, like... Sure, they're missing a few ultimates here and there, but Omni Slash was gonna come back soon.
They definitely don't need ultimates to kill them anymore.
Yeah, that's the
Not
other
at this stage. Chappie's so strong with his item build as well. He's very tanky, so and I like this about the itemization from all of them, all of the cores here. They're making sure they're as tanky as possible. This Underlord, how do you kill him? Pipe and mech, how do you kill him? Even if you commit 2 ultimates for it, you're not gonna kill him anymore.
Yeah, I don't think you do. Yeah.
And
With a plate mail going towards the Lotus Orb, so you even have armor to work with.
Exactly. Then you have the Lincolns, the Veil of Discord on the Queen of Pain. You have the Silver
Radiant's
Edge,
middle tower is under
Mantis
attack.
Style on the Juggernaut. That's so many. I don't know. It's just really difficult to kill them. And New Beginning, they're trying to overextend for like kills that aren't even worth it. Again, they went for the Underlord, a hero that's even if you kill him, it's not worth it. You're committing so much for one hero that is effectively only a mech.
Both teams smoked, they're running into each other. Queen of Pain actually blinking in the middle of that, tanks up quite a bit of the Eclipse as well. See, the right clicks there from the Luna, but Yamate on the outside, starting to spam this March, but it needs a few more of that. Double Fiends go on Luna with the BKB up now. Chappie finally brings in the Omni Slash onto both of these big old damage dealing heroes. With him and Calm Player getting all their damage at the right time and the right targets. They force out the GG play. The GG call, I should say.
I like the idea there. They tried to go for a play here. Very much outside of their base. They tried to catch them off guard, but it just didn't work out. But at this stage, they had to go for something like this. They couldn't have just played the game as was, because they were going to get overrun anyway. So taking a fight in that position. If they win that fight, they're in a really good position again. But obviously, Clutch Gamers, I don't know, they were just so far ahead at that point, so it was really difficult to win that fight in the first place.
Yep. Well, again, I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect New Beginning to show up like this. I've seen like a lot better plays from them before. But it's not to take anything away from Clutch Gamers, because they really showed up right now.
I was just about to
They really
say,
showed
I
up
think
today,
if anything, it's also Clutch Gamers that just
Yeah.
really showed a different face than what we've seen before. What we've seen before, I think, was a team that obviously tried to be like a better team than they were before, you know, after all the initial roster that was really strong earlier this year, right? It sort of lost its way at some point, it lost the rhythm, and then they tried, obviously, you know, with Chappie, it was sort of trying to be, quote unquote, pun intended, a new beginning, right, for the team.
Yeah.
But it didn't really work out, and it almost felt like it was a failed project in a way, because there was I didn't see any progress with that roster. But now with I think they've made adjustments. They're playing well with Nova, with who else? I'm missing somebody else. Velo. Either way, they, you know, it looks like a different team, and they look much more promising. But at the same time, this was also just New Beginning. No offense to them, but the real test is gonna come in the next